Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 15th chapter, text number 17.
Verse.
Yeah. Sotyvrita kumatinat mada ishvaro me.
Sadye Vrita Kumarina Armada Ishvaro me.
Yat pada padmam abhavaya bhajanti bhavya.
Yat Pada Padmana Bhavyaya Bhajanti Bhavya.
Mamma shranta vahamarayo rahinam bhubishtam.
Shranda Vahamarayo Rahina Bhubishtam.
Na praharan yadanubhava nirastachitaha.
Napraharan Jadanubhava Nirastachita.
Sautyevrita kumati natmada ishvaro me.
Sautye Vrita Kumatina Atmada Ishvaro ye me.
Yat pada padmam abhavaya bhajanti bhavya.
Yat Pada Padman Abhavaya Bhayanti Bhavya.
Mam shrantavam marayo ratino bhuvishtham.
Mama Santa Vaham Arayo Rahina Bhuvistam.
Na praharanyadhanubhava nirasta chitta.
Na Praharan Jadanubhava Nirastachita. Saujevrita Kumatina Armada Ishvaro me.
Sautyevrita kumati matmada ishvaro me.
Yat Pada Padman Abhavaya Vayanti Bhavya.
Yat pada padmam abhavaya bhajanti bhavya.
Mam Shranta Baham Arayo Ratina Bhuvistam.
Mam shrantavaham marayo ratino bhuvishtam.
Na Praharan Jadanubhava Nirastachita.
Na praharan yadanubhava nirasta chitta.
Sautevrita kumatinatmada ishvaro me.
Sajevrita Kumatina Atmada Ishvaro me.
Yat pada padmana bhavyaya vanti bhavya.
Yat Pada Padmam Abhavyaya Bhayanti Bhavya.
Mamishantavaham ratino bhubhistam.
Mam Shrantavaham
ratino bhuvishtam.
Na praharan jadanubhava nirastashita.
Na Praharan Jadanubhava Nirastachita.
Soche,
Sautye,
in the matter of chariot driver.
in the matter of chariot driver.
Vritaha,
Vritaha,
engaged.
engaged.
Kumatina,
Kumatina,
by bad consciousness.
by bad consciousness.
Atmada,
Atmada,
one who delivers.
one who delivers.
Ishvara,
Ishvara,
the Supreme Lord.
the Supreme Lord.
Me,
Me,
mine.
mine.
Yad,
Yat
Yat,
whose.
whose.
Pada, mam,
Padamam,
lotus feet.
lotus feet.
Abhavaya,
Abhavaya,
in the matter of salvation.
in the matter of salvation.
Bhajanti,
Bhajanti,
do render service.
do render service.
Bhavya,
Bhavya,
the intelligent class of men.
the intelligent class of men.
Mam,
Mam,
unto me.
unto me.
Shranta,
Shranta,
thirsty.
thirsty.
Vaham,
Vaham,
my horses.
my
Arayo,
Arayo,
the enemies.
the enemies.
Ratinam,
Radinam,
a great general.
a great general.
Bhubishtam,
Bhuvishtam,
while standing on the ground.
when standing on the ground.
Na,
Na,
did not.
did not.
Praharan,
Praran,
attack.
attack.
Yad,
Yat,
whose.
whose.
Anubhava,
Anubhava,
mercy.
mercy.
Nirasta,
Nirasta,
being absent.
being absent.
Chitta,
Chitta,
mind.
mind.
Something wrong. Translation. It is by His mercy only that my enemies were unmindful to kill me at the time when I got down from my chariot to bore water for my thirsty horses, and it was due to my ill estimation of my Supreme Lord that I dared to engage him as my chariot driver, although he is worshipped and offered services by the best man for attaining salvation. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Lord Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, is the object of worship both by the impersonalists as well as the devotees of the Lord. The impersonalists worship His glowing effulgence emanating from His transcendental body of eternal form, bliss and knowledge. And the devotees worship Him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are below even than the impersonalists consider Him as one of the great historical personalities. The Lord, however, descends to attract all by His specific transcendental pastimes, and as such He plays the part of the most perfect master, friend, son and lover. His transcendental relation with Arjuna was in the humor of friendship, and the Lord therefore played the part of a perfect friend, as He did with His parents, lovers and wives. While playing such perfect way of transcendental relation, the devotee forgets, by the internal potency of the Lord, that his friend or son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although sometimes such devotee is bewildered by the acts of the Lord. After departure of the Lord, Arjuna is conscious about his great friend, but there was no mistake on the part of Arjuna or any ill estimation of the Lord by Arjuna. Such atmosphere was needed by the superior will of the Lord, and the best intelligent man may be attracted by such transcendental acting of the Lord with his pure unalloyed devotee like Arjuna. In the war field, scarcity of water is a well-known fact. Water is very rare there, although both the animal and man working strenuously in the war field require constantly water for quenching thirst. Especially wounded soldiers and generals feel too much thirsty at the time of death, and it sometimes so happens that simply for want of water one has to die unavoidably. But such scarcity of water was solved in the battle of Kurukshetra by means of boring the ground at once. By God's grace, water can be easily obtained from any place if there is facility for boring the ground. Modern tube well system is the same principle of boring the ground, but modern engineers are still unable to dig up immediately a tube well, whatever necessary. It appears, however, from the history of olden days, as far back as the days of the Pandavas, big generals like Arjuna could at once supply water even to the horses, and what to speak of human beings, by drawing water from underneath the hard ground simply by penetrating the stratum with a sharp arrow enforced by a method still unknown to the modern scientists. Om Agyan Tirinandasya Gyanajana Shalakayam Chakshinamritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaham. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto His lotus feet. Jai Shri Prabhupada. So, welcome everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, please don't hesitate to write your questions throughout the class, and at the end we're going to answer every single question. Please don't be shy. The pastimes of Krishna, of the Lord, are transcendental. They're on the eternal platform, spiritual. We know very well that matter has no influence over spirit, right? How can we prove this? That matter has no influence over the soul. Just like your body of a child. We all had a body, just like small Indrani. We had a body like that before. But that body was extinguished. No more. It doesn't exist anymore. So am I finished just because my childhood body is gone? No, I am still here. My soul was not at least affected by this change of the body. Your nails are growing, your hair is growing. Are you lamenting? Are you disturbed by it? No, because you're not the body. You're the soul. So then the question can be raised. How is that Krishna, when he comes and manifests and exhibits his transcendental pastimes in Vrindavan, constantly the demons are coming and they're disturbing the pastimes. The demons are completely infused by modes of ignorance, which is a material quality. How can they disturb the pastimes of Krishna?
That is the pastime.
Hmm?
That is the pastime that he's killing them.
That is the pastime also.
They are part of the pastime.
Yes. A part of the pastime. But Prabhupada explains more specifically, he says that variety is mother of enjoyment. Right? So this is the arrangement of Krishna, that the coward boys are enjoying with Krishna. They have a good time. But in order to enjoy their lunch, they must stop playing first of all. So the demon comes to stop them from playing. Then Krishna kills him, and then they can take lunch. Otherwise, they would never take lunch. They would simply enjoy. This Prabhupada explains this in the purport. So this is Krishna. This is how Krishna is enjoying. His pastimes are completely on a transcendental platform. Transcendental platform means that there is no inebriety, there is no disturbance. Here in the material world, there's always an anxiety. We always have an anxiety. Oh, will my girlfriend still love me? Will my boyfriend still be under my control? Will my father give me money? Will my daughter go to school and pass the exams? See, all the relationships are tinged by this anxiety. So sometimes people say that you can't live with him, you can't live without him. This is the duality. People we love the most, we hate the most. Sometimes, because of this duality and anxiety. So in the spiritual world, there is no such a thing. In the material world, because there is this anxiety of loss, of possible loss of that relationship, we try to secure it. Right? That's why there's marriage, for example, in the material world. Marriage means we secure that relationship. It's very nice, but we have to secure it. So many other arrangements are there. People are trying to sometimes even negatively secure that relationship by force, by pushing. And this creates more problems. Actually, every one of us, we're trying to always fight for our position. I have a certain position, and if that position becomes threatened, I become like a tiger. I become like a tiger. But that position is illusory. We have no position. It is simply roles, like in a theater. So in the spiritual world, no one is trying to secure his position. Even Krishna is not into this. Because the relationships and position in the spiritual world is eternal. Everything is eternal there. Imagine you are eternal. Well, you are eternal, but imagine you would realize that you are eternal.
I was afraid to understand that I was eternal.
Okay? There's no anxiety anymore. If you analyze our activities are based on this anxiety from being lost. But if there's no anxiety, if we live forever, if we have relationships together, then the focus is shifted from securing our relationship to pure enjoyment. Just like Prabhupada was saying this morning, we were reading Nectar Devotion. Sat Chit Ananda. That's one of Krishna's qualities. His body is Sat Chit Ananda. Our body is not. Our body is Asat, Achit, Nir Ananda. What does it mean? Do you know? Asat, Achit, Nir Ananda. What does it mean? What is Satchit Ananda? Ladies. Who knows the answer? What is Satchit Ananda?
Satchitananda es eterno, lleno de placer y conocimiento. Eso es lo contrario. Asat es contrario, ¿no?
Negative.
Yeah, contrario. Yes, exactly. Nir Ananda means no pleasure. No pleasure. The body, there's no pleasure. There is simply suffering. In a childhood, there's suffering. The child wants to do something. The mother says, no. I want. No. You want nothing. You come. You do what I say. The child is suffering. He wants to go and play outside. But, the mother says, no, you go to school and sit down behind the desk. So he feels pain. And then when he gets old, the limbs are cracking, the bones are, messed up.
Like mine.
So, simply Nir Ananda.
Then you don't want to go out to play.
Simply Nir Ananda. Simply suffering in the material body. So, the real joyfulness begins when we shift the focus. So the devotional service begins from the platform of liberation. So long we're solving these material problems, material sufferings, or enjoying the so-called pleasure of the material body, there's no question of devotional service. Because devotional service is enacted on the spiritual platform. So then, Purujit, what are you saying? What are we doing here? That is devotional service in practice. Vaidividhi means devotional service in practice. Just like I remember I was working in telemarketing. So before we went to actually call people, we had a training for 2 weeks. That was not actual work. The company invested money in a training, so there's more effect. The work is more effective. The workers get more money from the customers over the phone. But that is not the actual work. The company has no profit from the training. The employees are simply attending the classes, they're hearing, and that's it. There is no income from this. So similarly, the Vaidhi Bhakti, there is no love. Every day we chant, we are reciting these 10 offenses. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is stated that if one commits these offenses against the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, one cannot get love of Godhead, which is the aim of the chanting. That is the aim of chanting, develop love of Godhead. That is the fruit, that is the result, that is the income. So we have to come to the point of liberation. That is why we follow all these rules and regulations. No meat eating. You cannot eat meat. You have to control your tongue. Only Krishna prasadam. You have to take only what Krishna. If there is no Krishna prasadam, very gladly I fast. Very gladly. Oh, very good. Very good. Jai. Jai. No illicit sex. No illicit sex. You cannot do this. Then you become bound. Illicit sex. Of course, there's so many bad effects. There's abortion. The man wastes the semen. That is the life force. His lifespan is decreasing if he wastes semen. But it also very much increases our material attachment. Very much. More and more in the bodily conception of life. Sex life, if there is sex life, it should be done with great caution. Prabhupada explains. Like the Grihastas, they have sex life. But also not like animals, cats and dogs. Prabhupada says, the Grihastas, they should not beget children like cats and dogs. In other words, if the Grihastas, they have sex life, even for children, even for propagation of children, it is considered to be illicit sex life. You follow? Even within marriage, if it is for propagation of children who are cats and dogs, it is considered to be illicit sex life. One must engage in sex life with the idea that now I will produce a devotee. So that is the illicit sex, that is spiritual sex life. But if simply, I want to beget some sort of children, whatever nonsense children, cats and dogs, that is also illicit sex life. Very strict. No gambling. No gambling. This idle sports, basketball, football, or whatever nonsense. So wasting time. Our children are wasting their time. All these competitions they have. I was playing basketball when I was a child. So much time wasted. And competition. This is the least we need. This competition spirit should decrease, not increase. Gambling. So any activity that is not related directly to Krishna consciousness is killing us. To waste we have a limited time period. Our lifespan is a limitation. So every single second is precious. Chanakya Pandit says, you can't return time. If you waste time, you can't return it even for billions of dollars. One time the time is wasted, that's it. You can't get it back. That is actually the definition, the characteristic of Madhyamadikari. He doesn't waste time. Wasting time, for the non-devotees, this is waste of time. Why are we hearing this? This is nonsense, you know. How is there any money here in this Bhagavatam? Do I get any money for this? No, okay, waste of time. It's the opposite. Huh? For him it is night. For us it is day, for him it is night. And these activities, for us it's all night. Huh? Accumulating bank accounts and accumulating prestige, accumulating name and fame, and getting a beautiful wife and all these kind of nonsense things. Nationalism, socialism, this, that, sense gratification, even up to the point of liberation. That is also a waste of time for the devotees. And then you have intoxication, another sinful activity. We're already intoxicated. Prabhupada says that one becomes intoxicated if he's born in a very wealthy family or a very aristocratic birth. He becomes intoxicated by that body. So on top, you intoxicating yourself, that is very bad. So these are just preliminary. These principles are just preliminary. Don't think that this is some kind of a great accomplishment. It is not. Strictly speaking, these 4 principles should be followed by a human being. Prabhupada says. These are the rules and regulations that constitute a human being. So if someone cannot follow even these, he's not even a human being. He might have a body of a human being, but from the Vedic point of view, he's a 2-legged animal. 2-legged, just imagine how very, very harsh words the Vedas are giving for the Kali Yuga people. Because in Kali Yuga, everyone is breaking these principles. So when Prabhupada says this is a sign of animals, actually it is a fact according to the Vedas. So anyway, we must understand why are we following these principles. Before we can follow these principles, we have to know why. Otherwise it becomes sentimental. For the time being I follow, then because I don't know why I'm following, I'm going to give up. So this is the reason. We must come to the point of liberation. These things are bugging us constantly. These material obstacles constantly are disturbing us. Constantly. When you chant your japa, there's hunger. There's many times you have the experience sleep. Right? You chanting japa, then this is an obstacle, right? You don't want to sleep. I don't want to sleep on my japa. That's not what we are desiring. But the sleep comes, and it's so difficult to control. Very difficult. So we must be free from this. If we follow gradually all these regulations, gradually, if you cannot follow directly, immediately, then don't worry, you do gradually. But have this understanding, this should be given up. Don't be foolish. All these bogus swamis and gurus, they say, there's no need of following this. Don't be fanatic. It's okay. It's fine. They told Prabhupada, Prabhupada spoke to some priest, and the priest said, what is the wrong with illicit sex? After all, it is love. Prabhupada said like that. After all, it is love. What is the love there? It's simply lust. So yes, we have to come to the point of liberation in order to taste pure devotional service. This is what we want. We have no taste. When I speak of real taste, real ruchi, just like all these devotees are tasting. Like, for example, you read the prayers of the highly elevated devotees. The many prayers. Even Arjuna is praying to Krishna when he shows him his universal form. Arjuna is lamenting, I have called you Yadava, I have called you such as Hare Krishna. Arjuna is panicking that, oh, you are actually the Supreme Lord. You are exhibiting this universal form, and I have taken you as my friend, as my cousin. Oh, please forgive me. And there's so many prayers. The gopis are praying.
Sorry,
Oh, you have to go.
We have to go. Okay?
You go to Germany?
Yeah, again.
Okay.
Alright? Haribol, so we see us
Alright, Prabhus.
when we come back in 1 week.
Have a good time.
Good.
Make lots of Lakshmi.
That's all
Hare
we can
Krishna.
do there. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Vanchakapatave, Chakrita Sindhavya, Vachaparitana, Prabhudeya, Vaishnavaya. Haribol.
Journey.
Thank you, Prabhu. That's just like a bus ride.
Stay in touch
Yeah, of course.
through the Facebook.
Classes. Hijita. That's okay. Vamos a llevar la pitadora, ¿no?
So now I lost the track of thought.
Great. When you read the prayers in high level.
Yeah, so they're very ecstatic, and you're almost thinking, well, this is a little too much. They're a little exaggerating. Right? Sometimes, at least I think, I am so atheistic that I think like that. It's a little bit too much exaggeration. That they're faking it. This is our immediate reaction, that they're actually just faking it. But no, they're not faking it. They feel very ecstatic. So much ecstatic that they're willing to give up their life for Krishna. Unbelievable. So they have such taste, such ecstasy, that sex life seems insignificant pleasure compared to this. All the pleasures of the material world seem insignificant. So we need to experience this. Krishna consciousness is not dry, is not just following some rules and regulations and restraining the senses. Yes, from the material we're restrained. But ultimately, Krishna consciousness is pure joy, pure ecstasy, pure pleasure. This is Krishna consciousness. And unless we experience this pleasure, there is no way how we can maintain our Krishna consciousness perpetually. So even in the preliminary stage, Prabhupada explains in the Om chanting that even a child can feel the ecstasy, and that manifests by the act of dancing. When the child is dancing, even we see sometimes on Harinam Sankirtan, people are dancing. Very often they dance. So that means they feel transcendental pleasure. It might be insignificant, but it is there. So in Vaidhi Bhakti also, there is some pleasure, otherwise how would we be able to do all of this? There is some pleasure. So that pleasure must increase. So we use the rules and regulations to preserve and increase that pleasure. Prabhupada says that one becomes enthusiastic. We need enthusiasm. That's one of the things that are favorable for the execution of Krishna consciousness. Enthusiasm, utsaha. Srila Rupa Goswami gives 6 favorable and 6 unfavorable things for the execution of Bhakti Yoga. So utsaha is the favorable, enthusiasm. And how do we develop this enthusiasm? By following the rules and regulations. That's how the enthusiasm increases. If we do not follow, you can perceive this. As soon as you make some mistake, as soon as you become slack in something, in your japa or whatever, your enthusiasm immediately drops. Everything becomes a drag. Oh, do I have to do this? Yeah. So then we have to taste the bitter medicine. Then we have to take the bitter medicine. It's bitter. Krishna consciousness becomes bitter. If we disobey, then we have to suffer. then we have to go on with the bitter until again the taste comes. It is like that. And it is very dangerous because sometimes it is so bitter that we cannot take it anymore. So we have to be very careful that we follow all the rules and regulations strictly. Might be difficult, some we can't follow everything at this, at once. It's not so easy. But we should constantly try, not be like, oh, this is not for me. This is only for the brahmachari. Sometimes some devotees, they say like that. And oh, these 4 regulative principles, that's for brahmacharis. They can do it. But, the grihasthas, they can commit sinful activities. It's not like that. It is for everyone. Everyone has to get liberated from the material existence. So then, we revive our pure Krishna consciousness, our spiritual body, everything. Our relationship with Krishna will be revealed to us, and so on and so on. So then, at that point, these relationships, they become interchangeable. Just like one time I'm serving Krishna, but then Krishna serves me. It's interchangeable. Just like Krishna was serving as a chariot driver to Arjuna. He became a devotee of Arjuna. So this is going on in the spiritual world. Krishna is not afraid to lose his position as the Supreme Lord, because all these relationships are transcendental. There is no envy, there is no tinge of competition, nothing. As soon as there's envy, one falls down into the material world. There was also this pastime in Dwaraka, I believe in Dwaraka or Mathura. The inhabitants, they had a transcendental party. They were celebrating, and they would throw yogurt at each other and ghee. That was how they were celebrating. And their dresses, they became all wet, so you could see through the dress. And some inhabitants who were there, who were contaminated, they became lusty by seeing this. So at one point they're asking this Prabhupada in a conversation, they're asking Prabhupada, is this how we fell down from the spiritual world? And Prabhupada said, yes. Yes, this is how it began. So, we have to be completely pure, completely free from any sinful activity, of course, and ultimately free from the bodily conception of life. This is very important. Before that, we can discuss these things theoretically, but we can't really realize all these relationships on the spiritual platform. We can't realize Krishna's transcendental nature. We always have doubts. Maybe Krishna is exploiting me. If I surrender to Krishna, maybe he's exploiting me. That I surrender and he gives me nothing in return. That doubt will always be there. That doubt is stopping us from getting liberated from this material existence. So we have to always try. Stop here. Any questions?
Maybe
Later.
But it's not like a button system, no? That you follow the regs and you become enthusiastic.
No, of
Sometimes
course
you
not.
follow when you're not enthusiastic.
Of course not. Yeah, of course not. You have to. That's why I said you have to know why you're following the rules and regulations.
But even if you know, let's say you can understand these things,
Yeah.
or you may have any experience.
Yeah. Well, I said you feel a little taste.
But sometimes enthusiasm drops.
You feel a little taste from the very beginning. There's a little taste, I said. So you follow the rules and regulations to preserve that taste. That's what it means, that you know why to follow the rules and regulations. That feeling you have, you experience one point in the beginning or for 1 second, you know it's there. That's why you're here. Right? We all experience some sort of happiness in Krishna consciousness. Wow, this is good. This is nice. That's why we're here. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. So we follow the rules and regulations to preserve and protect that feeling. Okay, Ostap is asking, Prabhupada say people already without intoxicating are in illusion, and they take intoxicating, so it is more illusion, deeper and deeper. Yes, exactly. Prabhu, explain please, how is it to go on when devotees strictly follow principles and have enthusiasm? Sometimes know this enthusiasm, even reading books, but have taste to read and listen, but sometimes enthusiasm low. Yeah, well, it's not so easy that in one day we become pure devotees. The enthusiasm, there's a ratio, right? We're also enthusiastic about sense gratification. But also, we're attached. We're not pure. We have so many attachments. So it's a battle. Enthusiasm sometimes increases, sometimes decreases, depending on our consciousness. So we just have to go on. That itself is enthusiasm also. That I have no enthusiasm, but I'm enthusiastic to go on despite the fact that I have no enthusiasm. That is also, you can call that enthusiasm also. That you believe, you have faith in the words of the spiritual master when he says, you do this and you'll be successful. So you have faith, yes. It's Prabhupada. Prabhupada says it, so it must be true. Let me go on. Doesn't matter. I have lows, I have depression, whatever. Let me go on. What else is there to do in life? Okay, he says maybe with other devotees, if I practice sadhana with other devotees, the enthusiasm increases. Yes, that also. That also, in the association of devotees, we discuss. And through discussion, we can clarify many doubts we have. These doubts are also are stopping our enthusiasm, the doubts. So when the doubts are clarified, you become almost like liberated. You become enthusiastic. Oh, I see. It's not important. Oh, okay, let me go on. Okay. Anything else? We have 5 viewers. Unbelievable, eh? So many. Alright, thank you so much. If you like the video, please subscribe. Krantaraj Shimal Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari 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 Bol. Namaste Saraswati Devi Guru Vani Brachari Nani Vishesha Shunari Paschat. If you like this video, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.